What's going on, guys? Brian back at BLOKgarage, and we have the 280Z back in the garage, out of the barn. All the panels that we just painted have been stored, and we are ready to go. Other than, I just had Lila help me put the doors on. Just temporarily put them on. They're not perfectly lined up yet. We threw the hatch on the other day because, one, I just wanted to get them on. Two, I have limited storage space, so we got them on there. Helps look like a car a little more while it's sitting in here. Man, it looks good sitting in here. Finally done with the bodywork, paint, rust repair, all of that stuff, and we can finally move on for real to start the 2JZ swap. So we get the 2JZ sitting here. It's been ready to go for a few months now. Man, it got dirty. Quite a bit of dust sitting, just sitting there, even with being covered up. You know, all that bodywork, paint, all that stuff. It's just been sitting here. So I am going to take this thing and we're going to put it in there today. We've already done this once, right? So we've already got the Apex suspension in here, the Apex engineered front crossmember, suspension, BC coilovers, rears in there too. Got my wheels on there. So it's looking good. And we're ready to just drop that 2JZ in. So I got to take that thing down off the engine stand. We got to connect our CD009 transmission. Got to put the clutch, flywheel stuff back on there. Then we can use our engine crane over there, pick this thing up, drop it in there for, it won't be the last time, but it'll be hopefully the last time before it actually starts running. So we are finally to the stage where we can start the 2JZ swap for real. No more messing around. So I'm going to get this thing cleaned up, snatch it off there, and ready to drop in. So before we bolt the transmission on, we got one thing we got to do. I want to put this Serial 9 shifter on because it'd be way easier to do now than when it is in the car and I got to lay underneath. So we're going to get this thing on. Let's check this out real quick. And I did a ton of measuring and figuring when I had this in there before to find the best shifter as far as where it would place the shifter underneath the car, because there is a ton of different shifters available for these transmissions, and this one, in addition to being the most popular recommendation, seemed to be the one that fit in closest to where I need it in the car. Actually, it comes in this nice bag. Yeah, so this is the actual shifter mechanism here. Bolts onto the back of the transmission. That's our shifter rod. We're not going to put that in now because it would hit when we're going to put it in. I got a bunch of different stuff in here in the box. And some stickers. You know we like stickers. Let's go throw those on the toolbox real quick. So we're going to pop the stock shifter off. I've already got the the mount here for the shifter, but get the shifter rod off. And just a couple roll pins in here. Now this should just slide right off, but mine is a bit stuck. There we go. I assume it's probably got some corrosion built up in there. Yep. Let's clean that up real quick. Good enough. And we'll stick this piece on to replace it. It's just that little thing. It's got a roll pin in it. We'll get rid of these stock bolts. We don't need those because the kit comes with new bolts. And we got some different bushings. I guess apparently this mounting spot changed depending on years. Earlier years you need this style that can sit down in. But mine's a later style, so these just go right here. And let's see if I can do this as good as they did in the video. Oh yes, that's right, I gotta pull this out. That would help. we go. There we go. Perfect. No idea what the torque spec is. Tight's good. Alright, let's check out the shifter itself. We're not putting this in right now, but I want to look at it. So what this comes with is, it's got this offset bushing or whatever you want to call it. So you can go, because this will not mount on there, you need this piece. So what you can do is you can have it, I'd have to loosen it up, but you get the picture. You could have it all the way back there. You could have it sideways like this. You could have it going to the front like that. You can use the center one to go here, or any combination. So that gives you a bunch of different flexibility. What's that? Maybe 2 inches back. I don't remember. I know it says, but maybe 2 inches back each way. So you get a 4-inch difference, and you can go at an angle, all that stuff. So yeah, that gives us a bunch of flexibility. So we don't want this on right now though, because it'll be in the way, hitting the firewall underneath the car when we go to put the transmission in, or the engine and the transmission. So we're going to leave it just like that. Well, we got the engine dropped in. I had Lila out here helping me. Didn't record that, but we got it dropped in. Not much issue. Didn't even make too many scratches. Did get a little nick right there, but not too worried about that. So, before I finish the day, I think I want to throw the turbo, exhaust manifold, and intake manifold on, just so we can see what it looks like. They're not going to be permanently mounted because we got tons of other stuff that has to be done. But I'm going to throw them on there real quick, just so we get the effect of how it actually looks in the engine bay. So let's do that real quick. Damn, check it out. So I threw the intake manifold on, exhaust manifold, turbo, and it is, ooh, that looks good. But we got some issues. So the exhaust side fits just fine. We got plenty of room. We got room down, you can see down there, for the wastegate, which we're gonna have to do some modifications for that. Once we clock the turbo, spin the intake housing down. Obviously can't have it touching here, but we can have it down this way. There should be enough room to weld an elbow onto there, so we can come out this way. Either that or we can get a 90-degree boot, but I'd rather weld an elbow on most likely. We'll see. We'll see when we get there, but that side fits great. Plenty of room. Back here, downpipe's going to have to come angle back this way and go down right here-ish. So we're probably going to have to do pie cuts. I don't know. That is really tight, though, and I'm not sure that we can do that without doing pie cuts. But again, we will deal with that later. The bigger issue is the intake manifold. So this is a eBay intake manifold. for a 2JZ GE VVTi, and it is touching here enough that I can't even put it all the way on. I got 2 bolts in on top, but it needs to rotate down some. And then once we go throw the throttle body on, this is supposed to go on just like this. This is where the throttle cable goes. The other side is throttle position sensor, and as you can see, there's absolutely no room. We could probably make something work by either putting it this way or this way and having to redo the throttle cable, because the throttle cable is supposed to mount right there, but we could figure something out for that. But even still, I mean, we're still, you know, just right there. We're probably an inch off, and that's touching. So I did a bunch of measurements before I bought that intake manifold. I thought it would fit. I knew it was going to be tight, but I thought it would fit. I was more worried about hitting on the strut tower, which it is close there. It would fit there though. Once it rotates down around, it would be fine. However, it clearly does not fit out where the throttle body goes. So there's a few options. I could clearance this, which I'd rather not do because we got nice fresh paint on there. I've got body filler here because this was all there's gouges and stuff. I mean, it's not a ton, but there is some on this area right here because I wanted to look nice because we cut some brackets off here. But so yeah, that would crack, right? Obviously the body filler would crack. So, you know, I'd rather not do that just because of that. And it could be fixed later. We could respray just this section in the future. Not that big of a deal. The other option, obviously, is to get a different intake manifold. This would fit if it didn't angle out this way so much, if the throttle body section just came straight forward. I don't know if, you know, what there is for options like that. You know, these intake manifolds are quite pricey. Even these cheap eBay ones are quite pricey. They're not, you know, it's not just money that I'd like to just throw away. The other option is I could cut all of these runners and move them in a little bit. Wouldn't really affect performance because, you know, we're mostly worried about airflow through the turbo. We're not, you know, it's not an NA motor. So, I mean, yes, the intake manifold runner length does affect power band and all that stuff, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. However, we can't go in too much because we got the water neck right here. You know, that's where our radiator hose goes right there. So we can't go in a ton. We also wouldn't need, well, yeah, we do kind of need a ton, don't we? Hey guys, I'm going to jump in here real quick because I thought about this last night after I got done recording, and I believe I've come up with an idea. I think the best idea, I mentioned how the issue is that this comes off at an angle. I think what I can do, cut this flange off, and it kind of sucks, it's a new manifold, but if we cut this off, cut our sheet metal back here-ish, and point it straight out, weld the flange back on, mount our throttle body just like that, because I still think we'd be out of room by the time we put the throttle position sensor on over here. But we could do that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that idea and everything else that I mentioned down below. Anybody has any suggestions or knows an intake manifold that would work? I can't just use a GTE intake manifold, which kind of come up and right here and face forward, because it's a GE VVTi head. The GTE intake manifold will not fit. I believe they sell adapters though, but they're also, those GTE intake manifolds are quite pricey also because they're scarce. It's hard to get parts, so you know, everything's used, all that stuff. So I don't know. I guess I got to do. Guess I got to do some research and figure out what I want to do. I don't want to make a decision right now because if I just go clearance that right now, I probably will regret it. So we're gonna leave that how it is for now, and we can think on it. But let's ignore this side of the engine bay and just look at this side, because that looks great. The turbo just sitting down here. Spins great. So if you guys didn't see when I mocked this all up when we built the engine before. This is a Pulsar turbo. It is a knockoff of a Garrett G35-900. Same specs, and I've read that they also use the Garrett core. It's just everything else is by Pulsar. So I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it's a G35-900 knockoff with a .84 AR back housing. These are about a third of the price of a Garrett turbo, of the equivalent. And everybody says, I've read so many good reviews that everybody's had good luck with these turbos. Yes, they're a Chinese turbo, but everybody has had great luck with them. So that's why I went with them. Save some money, and I don't know. Hopefully we'll be fine. So anyways, I don't know. We're going to think on this right here. But if you guys got any ideas, let me know. If you guys know of an intake manifold that should fit, let's get some specs right quick. So from the head over, just real roughly, you know, like 11 inches would be perfect. And if it came out straight. Somebody knows an intake manifold that's not insanely expensive. Yeah, I'd hate to buy another one, but I could sell this one. It's brand new. Somebody would probably want it. You know, if this came out about 11 inches and came out straight, would be perfect. So if anybody knows one, let me know. Now, this is one reason why I didn't originally want to paint the engine bay before we get the car running, or paint the car at all before we get the car running, because you always run into issues like this. If I had thrown this on here before we painted the engine bay, I would have just clearanced this, probably cut that out, welded in a new piece of sheet metal that was recessed, as long as our tire doesn't hit, which no, we should be fine, because the tire's going to be down here. No, we'd be fine. That's what I would have done, but I would rather avoid that now because the engine bay is painted. Again, we could fix it. Prefer not to. But that might be what it comes down to. We might end up just cutting that or bashing it in or something and fixing it later. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because that is kind of a big deal right now. I might be able to shift the motor over a little bit to the passenger side. There is play and everything. I believe I have it centered, but I might be able to shift it slightly to the side. So anyways, we're just going to think positive thoughts. Really like seeing that in there. It still surprised me just how low that thing sits in there. But there's plenty of room for everything else in there. We just need to figure out an answer to this intake manifold issue. I might continue mocking stuff up here at some point. We could throw the radiator in. I don't know. To be honest, I don't even remember what I got in the barn. So we got a bunch of parts in there ready to go on. We'll figure something out, but we need to figure that intake manifold issue out. Come up with a plan. So definitely looking for some advice there. Let me know if you guys got any ideas or what you would do here, because, yeah, we can't go very much further, at least with getting the engine running, until we figure out that intake manifold, because that is a big piece. We need to build our intake piping and everything, you know, the intercooler piping, all that stuff. I can't finish that until that's done. So I'll go do some research. Let me know what you guys think again. And I guess that's going to be it for this video. I mean, it's really nice to not be painting and bodywork and sanding and rust repair and all of that stuff, but this still comes with its own struggles. So anyways, yeah, leave me some comments down there. Like the video, hit up the Patreon, YouTube membership, all that stuff. Go buy some t-shirts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.